Hey, everybody. Carlos from Immortals Inc. Podcast. And I got Mikey with me on the keyboard.
As always.
And just a quick, if you like anything you see and you want to subscribe to us, please do. It helps us out. And any likes and shares.
Patreon. We have that too.
Yeah, we have Patreon and we have...
everything?
Everything.
Yeah.
So go ahead and look. Today we're going to talk about some games because you like games. I like games. Mikey likes games. And he doesn't.
Yeah. I mean, video games.
All right.
We like discussions too.
Yeah, discussions. So in a previous podcast, we talked about a role-playing game called, and I like a little more hardcore than John. John would never touch this with a 10-foot pole, but I'm going to try. The Lamentations of Flame Princess role-playing game. Total horror, total mess, total mature subject matter. It's good if you like a hardcore role-playing game. I just saw somebody had we do Cleveland Dungeons & Dragons, a Facebook group.
Yep.
It's for the Cleveland area.
It's on Facebook if you want to join
it.
It's
like a couple thousand members. So they just had a poll. I think it was there. They just had a poll, and it was about like how much gore do you like in your role-playing games? Like if you're going to talk about gore and horror and inappropriate things, you have to make sure your players are all on board. You can't just walk in and blah, especially with new players. Like it was me and my friends and stuff. Yeah, anything goes. We're like, okay, we're here. Let's see what happens. But when you have new players, you can't do that. So this brings us to Lamentations of the Flame Princess. That's definitely not when you walk into a room or if you're demoing or playing this game, it's a hot mess. It is just, there is no subject matter that seems to be off limits and it's not even in a crazy way. It's in a horrific, this is true horror way. Like I'm sure at one point somebody from Lovecraft said, oh, that guy's nuts. Stephen King, that guy's inappropriate, all these things, these are things that make people uncomfortable. So this is why I like Lamentations of the Flame Princess. God, Lamentations of the Flame Princess.
Yeah, say that 5 times fast.
Yeah. The writer, this James Edward Raggi IV, I'm sure I'm butchering his name. I follow him on, he's got a YouTube channel too. I don't know, I think I sent it to you. He went on a rant about how he's not, I give him some credit because he tried to write what they wanted him to write. And he goes, I can't do it. I'm not going to do it. He basically told everybody, I'm going to write the way I want to write.
Right.
And if you don't like it, don't read it, which I gave him respect for. One of his latest supplements that came in is called Curse of the Daughterbrides.
Now, if you want to feel uncomfortable like I did, all you got to do is open the first family tree page. That's all I'm going to say. So viewer discretion is advised past this point.
This is rough. So there's going to be some spoilers, and this is a rough subject matter. So if you're uncomfortable with self-harm or family incest type
pretty
issues,
crazy family trees.
Yeah.
Interesting.
You can go ahead and stop, and I understand. But I am going to talk about this in not a way. It's pretty heavy subject matter. It's about self-harm. And before anybody gets all crazy, I work with a lot of people with mental illness and stuff like that. So I understand it. I know it. I know where they're coming from. I'm not in any way making fun of this. Neither one of us are making fun of this. But if you want to have true horror, it's this will get you going, man. And it's not even like basically the premise is this is an add-on adventure to some part of it. And this from forward is going to be spoilers. There's this family, can't remember the name, but this family is called Curse of the Daughterbride. Basically, somehow this guy, this one father figure, and it's in the background, it's really rough on how he ended up having daughters that they're all related. He ended up basically interbreeding with family, and he keeps having daughters. A demon or somebody told him that, hey, as long as when you have a son, you'll be immortal as long as you have a son. Now, this guy was forced into it when he was young, so he had no choice. So that's terrible. So he keeps having all these kids, but he keeps having daughters. So it's just a vicious process that keeps going. Well, that's part of the story. The other part of the story is a wizard shows up. Spellcaster or whatever they call it. And now remember, in this universe, spellcasters are bad. They just deal with bad things, and bad things happen all the time.
Bad people.
He knew what this family was, and he knew it was evil, more evil than, say, he was. Basically, cast a spell to have them take care of themselves, Well, some innate ability of this family is it doesn't get affected by magic. So the spell bounced off and affected the whole town they were in. So now everybody in the town, when they meet somebody, are cursed, basically. So when they meet somebody new that's not cursed, they immediately go to great lengths to end themselves. Not in a way like it's a curse. So they're like, oh, hey, how you doing? You're walking along and all of a sudden they see somebody that's not cursed and they get within so many feet. Oh, hey, how you doing? And they jump off a cliff. You know, they go through great lengths to end their life.
I feel like it'd be very confusing to deal with as a non-cursed person.
It doesn't affect this father bride and his daughters. It doesn't affect the wizard that cast it. In fact, the wizard who cast it kind of went nuts, because what happened is this whole town basically ends up perishing because of they kept running into each other. They were cursed and
hey
were
man,
cursed.
welcome to Immortals Inc.
Like,
how you doing? And
this
then,
it's like it happened like in the middle of the day, so people are out working and everything. So when people came home, and when you see somebody do that, it's almost like it follows. No, what was the other one I watched? Smile. Did you see the movie Smile?
No, but
or It Follows. It's kind of like that. It's not like you want to do it to yourself. It's just you get cursed and it happens to you.
Cthulhu curse.
Yeah, it's very very Cthulhu-esque. Like drive you nuts kind of thing. So they would come home, and if you see somebody end themselves, you become cursed, and you know it. So if somebody you see that's not cursed comes towards you, you're like, oh, don't come near me. So that's what happened to this town. Enter the characters, the player characters. They just happen to be going to this town because this town is about to have a big festival for the weekend.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. So now these characters are traveling there. No idea that this is happening. So
let's hope there's no amusement park rides.
There is.
Oh, perfect.
It's supposed to be a medieval fair, and everybody's coming. So the player characters show up and are able, hopefully they're able to figure out what's going on. And once they do, it's terrible because the encounters you run into, oof, they are rough. They are rough. This is not any kind of PG. The stuff that makes you go, you walk into the room and think of the worst horror movie you've ever seen or the worst thing you've ever read. Like, oh, this will drive you nuts, like a Cthulhu. Yeah. Oh, hey, I'm going to go see this. This school. What's everybody doing in this school? And you walk in there and you can imagine the carnage. It just is there. You're like, oh. And when you figure out that now you're cursed, so you're trying to keep people away. So they gave an example of like, I don't know, you're standing out front and all of a sudden a kid's coming back and he's late for school. Hey, I was late for school. I didn't mean to. And they're like, whoa.
Yeah, dude. Stay out of school, buddy.
Yeah, so,
never thought I'd tell you that.
Yeah, it's very rough. And
do you see this old man at all during this?
So, and it's a very basic adventure. That's it. Plop, there you go. Solve your problem.
I like that.
The old man and his daughters are there, and the wizard is also there.
Daughterbrides.
The Daughterbrides.
Don't get it twisted.
Sorry. The Daughterbrides.
Wife.
Yeah, the daughter wife brides. It's,
wifey daughter.
Yeah, they have a family tree, and it's like, in the book. But
can you pull it up? Can you like show the family tree real quick? I feel like that's the only thing we can show.
I don't want to.
That's the only thing we can show, right? Can we show that?
Well, no, we're not going to show that.
It's a family tree.
Yes, it's
not
a family
really.
tree. So now you got these guys here. Now this family, the Daughterbrides family, the curse of the Daughterbrides, this family just wants to get out of town because they're known as just what they are, So they're like, hey, I got to get out of here, But they don't want to make too much, too many waves or get noticed because they're going to get blamed for this when they actually didn't do it. This other wizard did. So the other wizard's there, and you have to deal with him, and you maybe have to figure out, is there a way to stop this? Is it just something that's going to run its course? Is it becomes quarantine? There's a whole lot of things you can deal with like this. But the subject matter, the background of it is just horrible. It's terrifying, and it's very mature and horrific. And that's it. It's well written for what it is. That is a terrible, terrible adventure that needs to be dealt with. Like the true heroes, what are you going to do?
Right.
If you want to be a hero, sometimes you got to make bad decisions. And that's what I've always that's what I always say, like about when you have evil creatures or evil, like the bad guys got to be bad or the good guys aren't good. You know what I'm saying? This ain't the world of, hey, let's all just get along. No, somebody's bad. That's why you're good, And it's a lot of stuff. It's a small little publication. And It's good for like maybe 1 or 2 sessions in this. I'm guessing in this stuff, but just the general material can be plunked into any adventure. You know, any type of adventure. I mean, I guess you could move it up to Modern City or way in the past, or fantasy or anything like that. But it's well written. The other part I had was they make the Daughterbrides, and this guy he writes crazy stuff. The Daughterbrides themselves is a player character that's introduced in this, yes. And to read what you do to level up, it's not combat.
Yeah.
So
I would imagine it's not combat.
If you know anything about Lamentations, the Flame Princess, it's definitely not combat, and it's not discussed on the YouTube.
Yeah. We're pushing our limits here, as you can tell.
Yeah, I'm trying to be nice about it, and I'm not making, like I said, and even like a lot of people would consider this like it's like the self-harm part of it. It's not because they have issues, it's because they're cursed.
Yeah.
So to me, it's like, okay, well, that's like somebody, going after them. That's not them themselves.
It's a legitimate trigger. That
yeah. But if you have that issue, or you doesn't like it, or I shouldn't say you have that issue. If that's something that bugs you, or not something your players would like, then don't touch this with a 10-foot pole. Like I said, John wouldn't do anything with this.
This is a
not that he would, but
niche.
I just knew. Yeah, this is a special kind of niche that if you want mature horror that's well written and not just gross or disgusting or something terrible. Lamentations of the Flame Princess.
And after this video, we're gonna check on that writer too. We're gonna send him an email, and be like, "Are you okay, dude? How you doing?" And like,
he's pretty vocal. If you watch him, he's a very serious guy, and then he'll do things that are like that make you laugh, because he'll do something and you're like, was that supposed to be funny? And then later on, it's like, okay, that's his humor, real dark. But, which, suits certain people and not. But if you get a chance, check it out if you want to. And remember, this is very mature stuff. So if you like that, if you want to hear more, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and we'll go from there. Hopefully this turns out okay. It's a rough subject matter I hate talking about. Or not, I don't hate talking about it. It's just good. That's good writing, but for the mature.
YouTube, spare us.
All right, guys.
See ya.
Later.